Hi everyone, nice to meet you. So before starting the presentation, I will present a bit of myself. So I'm a Reflex business developer in Reflex. So I've been in the industry of the supply chain for the last 15 years. So I started my career as a consultant, both running project and also operation in warehouses. I then joined Hardis 4 years ago, where I used to be like a pre-sale consultant and a value consultant, and I moved now to sales solution, where I look after all the purposes of omnichannel world. So basically, our solution is Reflex. So who we are, Hardis is the company, Reflex is the tool, Reflex is the solution. So we are a company that was born in France, in the French Alps. We are now offices all around France, but also in Europe. We're trying to get expansion in Europe. So we've got offices in Spain, in Netherlands, we've got offices in Utrecht, and also in Poland. Our aim is to be like one of the supply chain solution leader in Europe. We are about like 1,200 employees, and the last turnover revenue was 130 million euros. As you can see here, you can see main of the customers, so we've got pretty good name, mainly in France, but also here in Netherlands. We've got Bolt.com, which is one of the e-commerce leader here. All around Europe and all over the world, we've got now 50,000 users that are currently works on Reflex on a daily basis. We've got more than 1,000 sites running with our solutions, and we're also recognized by the Gartner as being one of the best solutions in functionality covering within Europe and in the world. Again, this is our footprint where we are running warehouses and logistic purposes within the world. So you can see in blue that where all the sites are running, and in the hatches part, this is the ongoing project that should be completed by the end of the year. So by the end of the year, you should see, you can see that our footprint would be mainly everywhere. We've got offices in Europe, but we also have partners all around the world to help us to integrate our solutions. So wherever you are based, we'll be able to supporting you in installing and integrating our solutions. What do we do? What is our job? So our job for the past 30 years was to equip warehouses, do logistic, performing them. But then, during the last 5 years, I would say, we entered into a new omnichannel world. Basically, before, what was the supply chain was that the factory was creating, making goods, shipping them to warehouses. The warehouses was distributing the goods through stores. Okay, this has changed on the past years through internet and e-commerce flows. So what we decided to do is take care of your inventory wherever the inventory is. So, of course, in the warehouse, but also in stores. What's the point of shipping something from the DC if your customer is closer than a store? So ship it from the store. We're not saying this is your solution, but we make the things feasible. So you'll be able to have inventory management in the stores. Again, in the DC, we offer in-store click and collect flows. Why don't you do the same thing in your warehouses? You've got the inventory ready. If a customer, again, is closer to a warehouse than a store, why don't you let him picking up the goods from the DC? You've got inventory, use it. And again, in factory, we see more and more drop shipping. We're talking about shipping from the factory to your end customer, which is fine. But again, why don't you do the same thing, click and collecting from the factory? You have to think globally. You've got inventory, we take care of it. And again, of course, in the factory, in the warehouse, in the store, we won't apply the same logistic mode, the same picking modes, because they're completely different. We will adapt the inventory and the logistic adapted to each logistic node that you want to take care of. That.
You can see there.
Sorry?
You can see the screen over there.
Oh, the screen is there. Okay. That was the execution part. Taking care of the inventory, making the picking, the receiving, handling goods. What we also offer now, it's a layer above that, talking about the network and the inventory. You have to track and trace your inventory in real time. If you want to make and bring your clients in the omnichannel world, you have to have an accurate inventory. And more than that, you have to know where is the inventory. So you can have like an inventory accurate, but you have to know exactly what it is based and what it is localized. So we have one supply chain layer that we call visibility tool. And in this visibility tool, you'll be able to track your inventory where it is. So if you've got different ERP, different WMS, different CRM, different transport company, we will gather all those data and just give you the right location of each inventory in real time. So for instance, you will be able to say, okay, for this dedicated item, I've got 100 pieces on DC1. On DC2, I've got 50 pieces. This is the inventory, but also on the order, inbound order. Where is my inbound order? Is it still on the supplier DC or is it still in transit, bit on the road? You will be able to plug with the transport company and you'll be able to check at what time it will come to my DC. And you will be able to do that as well on the picking, on the shipping. So the idea is to track everything that you've got, whether it's in your warehouse, your factory, your stores, or in transit. This is what we offer on the top of that. Talking about stores, because it's pretty new on the logistic, this is our application. We call it Reflex in stores. The idea is to bring logistic in stores. We go in store more than we go in factories because one big company may have like 1 or 2 factories. But stores, this is the node that it's got the most. So we wanted to take care about the inventory in store to make the omnichannel feasible for every company. So again, as I said before, you need to have the stock inventory being accurate and being also able to know where it is localized. There's nothing worse for a client that's ordering something, coming to collect it, and having like some shortage. So if you want to meet the omnichannel purposes, you have to have your inventory really accurate and being able to know where it is. The first clients that we take care of, they was do-it-yourself, and they knew they had the inventory, but they don't know where exactly it was in their reserve. So we help them in making structure in that and being able to know exactly where is the inventory. Then, once they reached this step, they were able to meet the omnichannel world and they were able to put the right product at the right place, at the right price, in the shelves of his store. So that was the first goal that we met with them. Then the second one was the logistic performance, adapt the picking mode and put the inventory what it was. One of the big challenge in store, it was like in shelves on the sales floor, they were all in the shelves. So there was line outage. So first thing was to being able to replenish the shelf from the reserve directly into the sales floor, to not miss a sale. So that was the main concern. So what we do is we alert in real time the sales floor staff that one SKU is missing in the store. And then we will trigger, as soon as we can, a picking replenishment from the reserve to the shelves. So this is what we do basically in stores to make the performance get better. And then also, we needed to offer some new services like click and collecting from stores. So this is part of our application. Also, store transfer between one store to another. You want to pick it up from one store, you don't have the inventory, you will request a stock transfer from another store to your store. And also e-reservation and e-booking. You can book from any website, book a quantity, and Reflex will put it on the site to save it and not letting being sold by another customer. So this is what we really do in our application on the store purposes. So that's a few examples of what we do in different network, different retail stores. So basically, we transform all these kind of things in order to meet customer expectation. So that's a global view of what we take care of. In a store, basically, we found out that people were doing a lot of logistic without knowing themselves that they were doing some logistic. So from receiving to shipping or to client getting the goods from the click and collect part, we need to move stocks. So what we had to do is create an agile, a really light application in logistic to help the sales associate being able to do logistics. We don't want to put a full WMS in their hand. This is not their job. Their job is to take care about customer and to make sellings. So what we did, it's a simple ergonomic light application that helped them to move stocks around and being able to put the right product at the right place. The key benefits, it's first upselling a lot. Once we put our tools in stores, we could see the first figures. The first figure was like 95% more accuracy on inventory. It was 54% client loyalty more. And it was also up to 3% of turnover more. We also find out that in a store, especially with the new generation, the millenniums, if they come into a stores and if the product is not at the shelves, if they don't buy it and if they leave the shops without buying anything, there's 64% chance that they will never come back because they will find the things on the Amazon, on the internet, and they will change their habits as soon as they can. So it's really important for us to get this into our mind and to make the inventory ready for the customer. Again, we're talking about stores, sales stores. There's a new way of thinking as well about e-commerce. In e-commerce now, more and more stores leave their reserve into a suburban area. Real estate is really expensive, so you don't want to have like a reserve in cities. In cities or where your shop is, you just want to have sales floor. So a new suburban warehouse are raising now at the moment, and you've got like small warehouses around cities, and from those warehouses, which are really small, we call them dark stores or suburban hubs, they've got the sufficient store in order to replenish the stores. So this is a way of executing, I would say, normal logistic, but also from those dark store and from those suburban store, we will ship to direct customer. What we do in our application to ease this, in this kind of warehouse, you will be like 4 or 5 people, no more than that. So what you want to have, it's a versatile application that will tell you in real time what you need to treat and what your task has to be done in real time. So we get connected and the system will say, okay, Julien, you have to do 5 receiving now. But in the same time, a new picking order will come, and this picking order has to be picked in the half hour. So this is going to be priority 1. So you will get alerted in real time, you will drop what you will do in receiving, and you will move to the picking. And again, we will adapt our picking mode regarding what we call the cutoff transfer, or the time where the customer will come and pick up his delivery. So we will adapt the modes, the picking modes. For instance, if I've got like 3 or 4 orders that needs to be picked, but the truck will leave in 4 hours, maybe I will merge them. I will do multiple order picking, and I will take my time, because I've got time. But if an express order will come, and the guy is coming in 30 minutes to pick up his goods, then we will do a single order. Maybe we're not going to optimize the route, the picking route, but at least the good will be ready for the people. So we always adapt, considering the urgent, the priority, our picking mode regarding those flows. The benefits, they're almost the same as the store. What we do, since we do dynamic priority, you will be alerted in real time whether you are late or whether you are in time. Our customer that got this kind of application now, they only have like 1% late delivery for those who had like 40% late delivery. Because before, they had to go in the portfolio, looking at the cutoff time, asking those guys to pick this one, give picking slip, or just assign the task in the system. There was a lack of time, a lot of lack of time. Now what we do, the system take in consideration the time of picking. He knows because he's got historical. He knows to be able to pick this amount of unit. It will take you 30 minutes, and he knows that the truck is leaving in 30 minutes, so you have to pick it now. And he will assign picking task, picking batch in real time to all the persons that are available on the floor. This is the main benefits. We were talking about executions. We were talking about visibility. Where we will go in the future years is to go on the other orchestration, like other management system. As of today, we are still building our other orchestration management tool because we need to include all those real rules. There's a lot of OMS on the market. They've got simple rules, but they're not working really well. What we want to include is to take in consideration the level of inventory that you've got in all your logistic nodes, but also the physical location. Do I ship from one DC everything that I've got available for one order, or do I decide to ship it from 2 stores because it's nearer to the customer? What do I do from that? Is it okay for the customer to be shipped and to be delivered in 2 parcels, or do my customer prefer to be shipped in 1 parcel, but then it's going to be maybe longer, it's going to be more expensive? So all these rules, we are building them, and we are trying to make the best algorithm feasible in our system. So this is why it takes a bit of time. We will be ready for this kind of tool by end of next year, because we want something working really well. We don't want to put something on the market that is equally to what exists already. And also in this kind of tool, we will have like control tower, key KPIs, dashboard, and so on, which is pretty common as of today. So I was talking about what we do. Now I will talk about the customer, the first equipped customer in the omnichannel world. So we equip today in fashion Galeries Lafayette. They've got more than 30 stores equipped by our solution. They are equipped by Reflex in the urban hub, but also in stores. What they do basically, they've got different levels, and from the urban warehouses, they will be able to pick the exact unit that needs to go on a dedicated floor. So everything is already fully configured by floors, by segment, by sectors, and then as soon as it gets picked, the store receives it by just scanning the goods. Reflex will know exactly where to put the goods, whether it's in reserve because my security stock on sales floor is okay, or directly in my sales floor because I need to fulfill my inventory there. And also, is there an e-booking on this particular dress or jeans? Okay, I put it on the side. Everything is covered by Reflex. When I was saying that it was really agile and really easy to configure, now the Galeries Lafayette team deployed 5 stores a week with our solution, with their own team, with their own flying team. This is the average pace that we do in integrating and developing our solution. That was Galeries Lafayette. Another big client that we've got, Leroy Merlin, kind of do-it-yourself. They've got like almost 150 stores today. 2/3 are running on Reflex. They are still deploying it. And again, they are doing 5 stores per week by themselves with their own flying team. The tool, it's a business tool created by business user. You don't need any IT skill to configure it and to install it. You need to be trained. Usually what we do, we go with you, we support with you the 3 first stores, and then you're on your own, because it's really easy to use.
Well, thanks, Julien, for giving us a very elaborate view into your world, right? And maybe you want to wear the headset as well?
I will.
Then we all look the same.
It doesn't. Sorry, Ernst, it doesn't seem to work.
You have to press it a little bit longer, and it turns green. Hello, Julien. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, okay, because I'm hearing some other conference.
All right, then take.
This one?
Yeah.
No. Mm. Hello, hello. Yes, yes, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Good. So anyway, so we'll we open the floor for some questions. But first for me to get a good view on the offering, right? Because you take omnichannel almost to a higher level, right? Very deeply into the stores, and then also having this interface for the people in store to really sort of apply Reflex in a way, right?
Right.
So can you give me on the example, right? So you're telling a little bit about the technical things, but I as a retailer would also like to say sort of how much money or how do I save money, resources with your solution. Could you say something on that?
Sure, sure. It depends from where you're starting, where you're coming from. Basically, when we get onto stores on DC, starting point is different. Some of them are working only with paper. Some of them are already equipped with a small solution. When we're talking starting from paper, from nothing, we usually save 40%. 40% of people, and we increase also 30% of productivity. So this is the first thing. When we coming from something already existing, it depends again what level of maturity the customer have. But usually we always increase the productivity of 20%, and we'll also save people like 10 to 15% at least.
Okay, that's pretty good news. So that comes at a cost as well. All right, so you know next to the benefit.
Yeah.
So how would the business case look like as a retailer? So you charge for the implementation, and then it's by SKU fee, or is it how many stores, or how would you calculate?
The fee is made by the user connected in real time simultaneously.
All right.
This is why it's key for us to shorten the number of users and it brings the real value. Because usually when we make an estimate, we say, okay, you've got like this many people working in it in real time. Maybe you're going to shorten it by this amount of percentage. So then we assume that the price of the software, whether it's in software as a service or on premises, should be this amount. So this is the first fee, and we also charge if you want us to supporting you on the project, on the first site, and we will supporting you in implementing our solution. But you see, Leroy Merlin work with Capgemini. We work also with IBM and with also some other integrator. So and we always open for new integrators, for new business consulting company to help us in assessing our solution.
Other questions already from the audience at this point? You have a mic in the back, so don't be shy. You can always ask a question. And otherwise, there's always an opportunity to pass by at the booth at path F28.
That's Hardis, yes.
Yes,
right.
That's the so you have the address, right? Other question: if you sort of with the two examples you gave, you talk about the flying teams. I like the terminology. Those are not your teams then.
No,
right?
no.
Is that a deliberate choice, or is that a choice of the client at the time? Who is making that call?
We're starting using this term when we were doing the business case with Leroy Merlin, because they've got like more than 100 stores. They had like a plan of deploying it in 3 years, so we didn't want to supporting them with only one team doing only this. So what we wanted to do is like train a team in Hardis and train the Leroy Merlin team also. And what they do, which is really good, is that the Leroy Merlin team was at the beginning a team of 4, I guess. And then in the flying teams, they was always taking one guy from the previous stores. And then he was helping the next stores, and again and again. And at the end, so many people were trained in Reflex. And at the end, even the support team in Leroy Merlin was trained. This is why we train 12,000 users within the Reflex application. And now everybody is able to do support 1, and everybody is able to implement and help in implementation of the new store.
So you really use it as a cascading methodology.
Exactly.
Sort of, train the trainer.
We
it's
train.
a bit old-fashioned in this way, right? Sort of you have have to train the trainer.
Exactly, because our goal is to develop Reflex all around the world, all around Europe. So we want to keep our consultant and free them and release them as soon as we can to take care of a new project. So the sooner our customers are trained, the sooner they're autonomous, and the sooner they can make themselves small Reflex around the around the country.
And I guess it's also a little bit cheaper for the customer.
It's
than
much
than
cheaper
using
for
your
them,
consultant, right?
and it's free, and it releases our consultant to take care of new projects.
Okay, cool. Hey, and so you and in the beginning you talked about Hardis Group Reflex as a solution. So if I'm a retailer and I would like to expand internationally, you mentioned a few countries. So what are your plans? You know, where are you heading into? You know, can I use you for on a global solution? Or is it just the territories that you mentioned?
No. You can use Reflex all around the world. One of our biggest customers are 3PLs, JXO. So they're all around the world using our solution. So if they can do by themselves the implementation of Reflex, they do it. Now what we are trying to do is to get expansion in Europe first, because it's closest to where we are. So as I said before, we've got offices in Spain, in Poland, and in Netherlands. We're planning to open a new offices in UK next year. We've got one big partners in Sweden that's doing a really good job. Why not implementing a new offices over there as well? So we're trying to get expansions. We are in growth since the company was born. It never stopped in growth, even during the COVID. So we double our HR team. So we still hired. By the way, if some of you are looking for a job. We're on the way
Well,
of getting here.
I'll look into the openings, and I think
Okay.
I'm definitely interested. But so let's take that not in the workshop yet. But on the other hand, sort of any questions from the audience at this point yet? Yeah, a big question here in the back.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have one question. I like the idea when you mentioned that you're planning on the algorithms.
Can you tell your company as well? Which company you
I'm
represent?
from Logio, a consulting company.
Right.
Sorry, my name is Martin Pounce. I'm from the Czech Republic. And I like the idea the algorithm to calculate whether to execute or meet the order from either the DC or store and so on. Will this have an connection to when I'm, as a consumer, place the order, for example, on internet, to see, okay, if I place the order and I can receive it in 2 parcels from 2 stores in next day for I don't know how much price for delivery, or another option from a DC, 1 day longer, but much cheaper. Is this also connected to that place, to this moment?
This is what we're trying to build with our customers. What we do is execution. So we explain all those concerns that we've got to our customer, and then we say, would you be able on your website, on your selling website, to ask the customer to choose? Do you want to be deliver faster, but it will be in 2 parcels? Do you want to deliver 1 day later, but it's going to be in 1 parcel? Do you want to be delivered even faster, but you go and click and collect? Do you want to go even faster in a convenience stores, and so on? So we need to work closely with our customer to see what they can offer on their website. Once they say, okay, this is feasible, this will not be accepted by our customer, then we set up the algorithm considering the wishes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Thank you for the question. Other questions from the audience at this point? I do have another question, Julien.
Sure.
So you were talking already about partnerships, right? You talked about GXO and you talked about Swedish partners, and so what would what type of things are you looking for when you want to work with a logistics or supply chain partner or a fulfillment partner in that domain? What would be key for Reflex to work with them?
Well, we cover
next to geographical expansion, probably. Yeah? You would like to? Yeah.
Yes. We always love working with 3PLs. Because 3PLs handle with any kind of product. Most of the time, when a company is growing, they don't have any warehouse, and they need to find a 3PLs. And the 3PLs always say, yes, we can take care of it.
Mhm.
And they adapt their mode, their picking mode, their logistic mode to their customers. And since we equipped 3PLs, they force us to make our solution evolve. And we always have to make new features, new modules in order to face the new business needs. In Reflex, we've got a new release every 6 months. And part of our resource and development team, we've got 3PLs team. We've got 2 people from GXO and 2 people from FM Logistic. Because we want to be at the trend.
Mhm.
We don't want to sleep and say, okay, we're good. No, we always want to get better and better. And considering this, we love working with 3PLs.
Yeah, but also so from the end clients and the 3PLs, they give you feedback on
Of course,
the
yeah.
usability and the application of
Yeah.
the service, and then you incorporate that in the next.
Exactly. We try to make it standard. We don't want to do specific feature within Reflex.
Mhm.
Since we are releasing a new release every 6 months, we want it to be part of our standard solution.
Great. Hey, and so if you would be looking at your current client base, obviously you can find a sort of common ground in
Mhm.
those ones. So what would be an ideal client? You know, if you need to sketch it, but maybe outside France, right? Sort of. What would be sort of where is the sweet spot for you guys as a service operator to say this type of client we're really looking for? You mentioned BOL in the Netherlands, right? So but that was a prime e-commerce type of company,
Sure, yeah.
right? Sort of. Is that your sweet spot? Leroy Merlin is obviously a DIY. You know, it's
Yeah,
really a store.
yeah.
So where would you see your most added value?
I don't know if we went really fast to it to our reference, but we equipped a lot of things already. Any customer that's looking for a solution, we are about to equip them. So we are not looking for one specific client or way of working. I would say each client that would require our solution or wants us to work in any part of the world, we will be able to support them. So
But even on a local level, let's say I have 10 stores in Belgium, one half warehouse type of thing. Would that also be interesting
yeah,
for
we
Reflex
take
to work with?
we take everything. Basically, you have to be like at least 30 users, because otherwise it's going to be expensive for the customer. But besides from that, we take any size of it. We like big customer, we like small customer, we like medium customer. Small and medium customer are really good for us, for our consultant to get trained on the logistic and the logistic trains, and then they get better through that, and then they can take care of bigger customer. So we assume also that a small customer and a medium customer maybe one day will be a big customer. So we love working with any kind of client.
Maybe slightly other question. If we like 2-3 years from now, what would you see as becoming the main trend? So you see sort of early signs probably with your clients.
Mhm.
What would be the next big thing in the omnichannel domain and for Reflex?
There's a new things in France. Drive for food is getting bigger and bigger. So we assume that's going to be bigger as well in other part of the world. We're trying to think about new model, new processes, like delivering maybe. Directly customer in their cars on the park slot, something like that. Or sometime when a customer comes to a drive, he needs to get logged on a TV or whatever. Now maybe taking care of his plate number, the gate would open itself. We are trying. It's just a lab. We're always working in our lab to make the things the more close to the trends. But the trends again is just guess. It's just bet. Some of them will come through, some not. But we're always considering new trends.
Yeah, so you're talking about effectively your innovation culture, right?
Sure,
so
sure.
You're
Yeah.
adopting some of the trends,
Always,
try to
yeah.
experiment.
Yeah, we
and
experiment.
probably
always.
involve a client in the domain as well.
Correct.
All right. Any questions from the audience in addition?
No.
Good. So a peek in the future. One of the things that I noticed on your map, the biggest country in the world, right? Russia, type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that how is that affecting your business? Is there things on the geopolitical climate that really directly have effect?
The customer that we have in Russia, they are running by themselves Reflex now. We've got French client running Reflex over there. We don't have any consulting left in their country, so we assume they're running their own warehouse with our solution. but they are autonomous on that now. So I'm not sure whether some of them closed already. We don't have any customer in Ukraine. We do have some in Russia, but they're autonomous. We don't have any consultant over there working at the moment.
Yeah, crazy days. So
Yes.
what is the plans for the next year for Reflex?
Yeah, we're trying to first opening an office in UK. That's the first thing, because we assume that if we have offices in UK, it will open a door to the US market as well in the following years. So we want to be installed in UK to have more of a UK culture and English native speakers. So we're mainly in France, so you can notice my accent. But we wanted to open a UK office to have real English native speakers working on Reflex and being able to talk about it. So for the moment, we only have partners in US. We've got Duracell, you know, the battery. They're running their US warehouse with our solutions. But we still need to have like a real Reflex consultant, native English speaker.
Great, great. So just waiting to the voice of God to end. Okay. So and I think you gave us a very elaborate insight in what you're doing. We heard a couple of invites. You still can apply for jobs. There is
Please come to our stand.
there is an opening for a partner in the UK. I hear, right? Sort of. There's other partnerships that they want to work with. Maybe in Croatia, and maybe also in other domains in the world where there seems to be a lot of room for your solution. Being
hopefully.
sort of the layer on top of 3PLs or logistics service providers.
Correct.
And on top of that, I hear some sort of invites for customers.
Anytime.
Anywhere from 30 users up. To see what you can do. I learned a lot on your introductions around omnichannel. So the granularity that you take with and where your stock is and how you can optimize that without in a almost seamless way. In all fairness, much further advanced than I was initially thinking in my domain. So really super interesting from that part. So thanks a lot. Give a big round of applause for Julien Vedere.
Thank you.